Okay, hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth Sullivan, and today is going to be a pretty interesting video because it's going to be less of a self-help, techniques or some exercises, but more of some food for thought. I did not want to speak out for a certain time about the topic that is going on right now, but I've received a couple of questions to explain what is actually happening and what is the psychology and kind of the meaning behind all the actions that are going on. And I do have an opinion based on, again, the research, based on psychology, based on learning and evaluating people's behavior. So first of all, I want to mention that I do not wish any harm for anybody. I'm just sharing some expertise on this topic, and I'm really interested in getting some feedback. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about this, or if you have any more questions about it. So first of all, one of the things that really drew my attention to, due to the current situation with the killing of a man, all these pacifists and all these fighters for freedom, fighters for equality, and so on and so forth, when a few days ago it was announced that the policemen that were on site in this current event, that they were sent in jail, these people started rejoicing, right? They were like, hooray, we're rejoicing, we're so happy that this has happened, and so on and so forth. So let's take this particular situation and look at it from an outside perspective. What it is, it's showing clear sadistic influences, right? Clear sadistic patterns, because a person is feeling joy, is feeling happy when another human being is harmed. So first of all, just think about that. This is showcasing the sadistic behavior in these so-called, again, pacifists, or however they like to call themselves, which is quite abnormal for a human, for a human with a strong, healthy mind game, strong, healthy psyche. So now let's take it a little deeper, and I'm gonna kind of explain where it comes from, because as human beings, we do not do anything in this life that is not a direct correlation from satisfying some of our needs, right? Everything we do has this impulse. Everything that we want, our desires, our wishes, our actions, our thoughts, it all has this inner kind of drive, where it derives from, because otherwise we would be literally just wasting time. So everything that we want, everything that we do comes from this deeper kind of impulse, deeper need of some sort. And a lot of people, unfortunately, do not know how to identify where some of their actions, some of their thoughts or emotions originally come from. So this is what psychology is all about, and it's basically just understanding your direct correlation of what you're actually trying to achieve, what your body is trying to achieve in a certain situation. So coming back to this particular topic that I've raised, what happens here is a clear inner conflict. You have a clear inner conflict, people who are rejoicing, right? There's a clear sign of an inner imbalance, two polar opposites, two sides of your own personality. And this is very common. We are all made out of polarities, and basically the important thing here is to understand them and then bring them back together and kind of create a center, create a whole, because otherwise you will go either to the right or to the left. You're going to be all good or all bad. So what is going on here, every time when you experience such big emotion, right, something that huge that moves you emotionally so much, there is clear sign of this inner polarity that has not come to terms with each other. So obviously you are rejoicing. If you think about it, a person is rejoicing that somebody else is bad. So he has a polarity that says it's bad, and he probably has the other polarity who does not understand why it's bad or think it's good. So you're basically, I know it's gonna sound a little harsh, but you not accept your inner racist. which is normal, and I'm going to get into this topic a little further on. But when we cannot create a center, this is where this inner conflict, this inner like huge emotions take place at and come from. So for example, a person who is let's take another polarity, and I'm going to give you an example of that the person who is obsessed with cleaning stuff, right? You know that obsessional compulsion behavior, when he wants to clean everything. He has a second polarity, he has an opposite polarity of loving dirt. And it sounds pretty crazy, but this is how actually it works, right? So he has this other polarity, and he's creating this compulsive obsessive behavior towards one of them just to deny the existence of the other, but only because these two polarities exist and he cannot create a center between them. That's what creates this compulsive obsessive behavior towards one side. So this is a very similar situation. You're kind of fighting for the rights, you're fighting for the not even all lives matter, like the Black Lives Matter, and you go on talking about how bad it is, but you only go so extreme into one side because you do not accept your opposite side, because this opposite side is constantly being repressed, right? Told that it's bad, said that it does not exist, that this energy just moves and shifts towards the other side, towards the opposite, towards this, oh, I'm so good at speaking my truth, and so on and so forth. But do you really know your truth? Are you really so intact with your emotions and with your behavior? And this is an interesting thing that I also want to raise in this video, is where these parts are created. And coming from Russia, from Europe, you know, living in Europe for many years, in America, it's a very interesting social, let's say, standards on this sort, right? From a young childhood, we are told, or kids over here are taught what they say about racism and so on and so forth. And now let's again kind of zoom out a little bit and see this situation in particular. Imagine a kid, a boy, and he sees a girl, right? He knows that there is difference, but he can clearly say, oh, it's a girl, she's different from me. In that way, he learns how to identify himself and identify others, because boys and girls are different, right? And from a young age, you can see this difference, and this is okay. So what happens with this racism thing is we are taught, or like the kids are taught, that, oh, no, you can't say that that person is a different color, we're all equal, and so on and so forth. And it clearly creates this inner disbalance, this inner misunderstanding, right? Because thank God if you don't get yelled if you call somebody of a different skin color different. This is the basic tone of this conversation. Talking about these people in different form is bad. And this in a young body, in a young child, and then of course as an adult, it also creates this disbalance, because you clearly see the difference, but you cannot talk about it. So in supposed to really understand this polarity and really come in terms of that, oh yes, we are like different skin colors, and then understanding the differences and being able to identify yourself even better and kind of be able to interact with the world healthy, you create this inner disbalance of, oh, this side that thinks we're different, this side that thinks that it wants to differentiate from that is bad. You know what I'm talking about here? And this is where people tend to grow either towards one polarity or then towards the other, right? Towards like racism or towards this hard activistic kind of feelings, kind of motives, which is also pretty interesting. So this is where this sadism of the sort that I've talked about come into place, because you are feeling such negative inner feelings towards this racist part of yourself. I'm about to say racist, it's kind of like this part that differentiates people by skin color. You hate this part of yourself so much, you make it small, so little, you constantly just draw it down, that when you see others being harmed for this thing that you're oppressing, you feel this other polarity of yourself feels good, right? Because this is what it's been doing. It's kind of feeling that it's been justified to what you've been doing to yourself your entire life. And it's pretty interesting to kind of see the development of the USA as a country, because I can share a few examples from history, right? From the history of the world that have kind of worked through very similar issues. For example, right now, when you see a German person, you don't go and be like, Nazi, oh Hitler, and so forth and so forth. You can have it as a joke, but it is not that offensive, repressive feeling that you're killing in yourself because they're German, because of their history, right? Same as in Russia, for example, we used to have slavery for many, many years, and we don't walk around. I mean, we can like sometimes joke about Tsarian families, right? Or what they were called, like barons and stuff like that, people of wealthier who had slaves for generations and generations. But because it has been healed as cultural thing, it does not impose the same emotions, the same polarities in people anymore. So what is happening in the USA is, I've recently heard this very amazing example from hypnotherapy, which had nothing to do, again, with culture, but it's interesting to bring it back to that. So imagine an open wound, right? When you have a wound, what does the body create on top of it? It creates a scab. It creates this thicker layer of skin so that the wound can heal itself from the bottom up, because this is how our body heals itself. And what is happening in the USA, at least what I'm seeing, is that people, for some reason, decide to constantly tear off this scab and think that it's gonna heal anything. No, guys, it's literally not gonna do any good. You're constantly re-wounding and re-wounding, bringing more and more attention, more and more diseases, more and more inflammation into this open wound. So just let it heal, let it go. That is the only thing that I really want you to take away from this video, is that by constantly reopening the wound, it's never going to heal itself. Just like what happened in the culture of the world cultures, like the Germans, right? It happened in any other slaveries in Russia or in Australia. We do not associate with these negative things no more, because that wound has not been constantly reopened by thinking it's going to heal faster. So basically, that is it. That is what I really wanted to share with you today. I think it's an important subject to raise. This is an interesting thing, an interesting food for thought if you have some time to really think about it. But that is that. And thank you very much for staying with me. Have a good day.